We all know and remember a TV show called Ed, and Eddy. The show took place in Peach Creek cul-de-sac. But it wasn't always a cul-de-sac. Just like many things, it evolved over time. Rolf was the first to the cul-de-sac. Rolf was a farmer. He tended to his animals, cared deeply for them. Rolf died in 1903. While tending to his cattle, a bull got loose. Rolf attempted to stop the bull, but he was trampled to death. Johnny was the next. Johnny died in 1922 due to an illness that he had contracted. Johnny always carried with him plank, a piece of wood that had a smiley face on it. Back in the 20s, you were the cool kid if you had a plank. Johnny was a cool kid until he had passed. The next to arrive was Eddy. Eddy was originally from New York. He was a scam artist, always trying to get that mighty dollar, but always failing. In 1930, while pulling a prank on some boys, the prank had backfired. The boys realized what Eddy was up to, and they were put into a rage. They began chasing Eddy throughout the woods. Eddy tripped and fell into a stream where he had drowned. The next to arrive were brother and sister, Ed and Sarah. Living through the Great Depression and World War I, Ed and Sarah's father was killed in action. This caused their mother to have to work all day, allowing very few time with her children. Because of this, Sarah became a control freak, always wanting to be in charge, always wanting to be on top. Ed, however, disconnected himself from the world. Nothing ever mattered to Ed. He failed his school, and he began to pick up comics and horror films, which were very popular in the 1940s. While on their way to their grandma's house in 1949, the family was killed in a car accident because of a drunk driver. The next to arrive was Naz. Naz was a hippie child born in the 60s. She died in 1973 after an escaped man from an insane asylum had found his way to Naz's home, where he brutally murdered and raped Naz and her family. This is why Naz has no family in the TV show, because her only memory of them is either them doing drugs or being murdered and raped. Next to arrive was Double D. Double D was always the nerdy child, two very smart, very controlling parents. But Double D didn't take after them. Double D had his own way of living his life, and yeah, he did have to do many chores for his family, most of which were completely useless. In 1988, Double D was pulled into a game of dodgeball during recess. During the game, Double D was hit in the head with a dodgeball and sent to the ground. On impact, Double D's head crashed against a rock. Double D died on the way to the hospital. Next up was Kevin. Kevin grew up in an abusive home. His father was very abusive to him, and that is why he has such a hard exterior. Kevin died in 1999 due to a bike accident. But after his death, Kevin changed his outlook of himself and his father. Kevin became a nicer child, as he made his father a nicer person. Next was Jimmy. Jimmy had leukemia and was bedridden throughout most of his life. In the year 2000, Jimmy had passed, thus leaving the Canker sisters. Canker sisters have no origin, nor do they have a lord to their lives. It is believed that the Canker sisters are simply demonic beings that are there to haunt the rest of Peach Creek residents. The reason people believe that these three sisters are demonic beings is because they are the only one of the entire TV show that have pink human tongues, whereas everyone else has blue tongues as someone dead would. Another reason people believe they are demons is because they have the ability to teleport from place to place with no rhyme or reason. In one episode, Ed, and Eddy go to find Eddy's brother. Eddy's brother was a very troubled child in real life. Eddy took after his brother. Eddy's brother was a father figure to him. But what he didn't know was after Eddy died, his brother took up drugs and more serious crimes such as grand theft auto, burglarizing homes, and it is possible that even murder. Eddy's brother died in prison. But when Ed, and Eddy went to see his brother, they had to leave Peach Creek. The three Eds left purgatory to go to hell to see Eddy's brother. This is the conspiracy of Ed, and Eddy living in purgatory. Thank you.